And we should be live here. Let me fix my screen here. All right. All righty. And we should be live. Let me make sure the mic is all good and adjusted. Welcome in, everybody. Good afternoon for a lot of us. Some of y'all on the West Coast, morning. If you're in the UK, I know maybe a couple people in here from the UK. Good evening, I guess. Good evening. So let's get into it. I don't know how long this live stream is going to be. We have a lot to go through, so probably like 30, 45 minutes. Probably 45 minutes. I like to talk sometimes, so. But what's up, everybody? We already got Jim in here. I gotta go make Jim a moderator. I don't know what I'm doing. Can I do that from here? All right, for now, standard moderator, Jim. Probably end up being a managing one. What's up, everybody? Everybody, let me know in the comments, where are you watching from? I'll give it another minute to get some people into the stream before we really start to break things down. But let me know, guys, where are y'all watching from? All right, and the other thing we got to talk about is our northward shift. You guessed it, overnight it trended even farther to the north now. So even more of a northward shift. We got an Arizona in here. What's up, Chappie? Running Reb, how's it going? Timbers, what's up? Jim, Ronnie, Chris, and we got Indiana, we got Louisville, Seattle Metro checking in. How about those Seattle Seahawks? Jim, how about those Seahawks? Just south of Kansas City, you're going to pick up a little bit more snow if the recent models are right. Southwest Missouri. Hey, I'm in Southwest Missouri too. What is up? What is up? All right, everybody. Make sure to smash that like button. Let's go ahead and get into our live briefing here. So we're looking at the GFS here. So let me make sure this is the right run here. Yeah, the 12. I can't wait to do these for like tornado setups. It's going to be fun when I can talk about a tornado setup on here. Welcome in, we got Virginia in there, St. Louis area, Houston. Houston, you guys are trending away from the winter weather, but the north side, I think, especially could still get some stuff. All right. We got a West Tennessee in here. Okay, Friday afternoon. You can see some of the winter precip is building across New Mexico to Oklahoma, even parts of Arkansas. So let's go over to Friday evening. Here's about 9 p.m. So you can see around between 6 and 9 p.m. on Friday, the moisture really starts to collide with that cold air. We got a collision. We got a collision course. We got this warm, moist air flowing in from the Gulf. We got this high pressure up here pushing this cold air down. And then this is your winter collision zone right here. And actually probably could draw that a little further south. But there's your winter collision zone all throughout there. So y'all know how the weather works. Cold air from the north, moist air from the south. And in late January, February, early March, when those collide, you get winter weather. So it's going to start to the west and obviously move east. So your initial piece of energy is not like overly strong, but you have enough energy. Your main wave, we're now midnight. Your main wave is still out here coming on. Your main wave is still out there phasing in to the main trough that's up here. Whoa, why is that so big? Okay. So you can see by midnight, you got a pretty big wintry mess on your hands there. 3 in the morning, 6 a.m., you got snow, really heavy snow, just training along this corridor. This is the GFS. The Euro is a little bit different, so we're looking at the GFS first. Even a little bit of snow for the high plains there. And this starts to get eastward, and you have a big mess of sleet here. So southern Arkansas, the GFS says sleet rather than ice. Dallas, you're right on that battle zone, but we got ice down here, probably all the way down to Waco, Midland, Odessa. And by Saturday afternoon, you can see the main wave of energy. The first wave of energy is out here now. First wave of energy is out here. Nashville, GFS says snow. Euro shows a different story, I think. I haven't looked fully at the Euro. Oh my gosh, the big winter 420. Thank you for the $2 super chat. I really appreciate all of the little donations. And Jim has joined the Doppler gang. I haven't done anything with my members because I just haven't had very many members. But if we start to stack up some members, then I will make members content. So, but I'm also helping Garrett make members content on Stormrunner. So I'll have to divest a lot of my energy there, but I can do it here. So as you can see that by Saturday, by Saturday evening, that main wave of energy, or the first wave of energy off to the east, our second wave of energy, which has kind of been the question mark, is now out here across the Texas Panhandle. Oh my goodness. And so you can see that second wave of energy by Sunday morning is now across I-44 and south. Big sleet. You got ice. You got now your cold front has dipped all the way down. So you have freezing rain. North side of Houston, Austin, College Station, Birmingham and north, and then Atlanta. The GFS still shows a big freezing rain event, Atlanta and South Carolina. As far as my chasing plans, I don't know yet. That's something to figure out in the next day or two, is my chasing plans for this, but probably will be live at least for 2 streams to chase this thing. But you can see then the GFS really kind of moves it out by Sunday afternoon. And East Coast is still getting clipped by Monday morning, and then it moves off. So the snowfall amounts are kind of ridiculous with the GFS. And just to be quite real with you guys, I don't buy these snowfall amounts that the GFS is putting out here. I just simply don't buy it. Like Fort Smith, Arkansas, you're not getting 2 feet of snow because you're going to have sleet that mixes in. The GFS is not, I don't think, accounting for some of that sleet. You're going to have that sleet that's mixing in. Now the GFS has Joplin to Springfield almost up to a foot, which I do think is actually realistic up there. The Euro has you guys will see when we look at the Euro, but the Euro has a lot more snow right here. And still has a lot right here, but it has a lot more snow up here than what the GFS is showing. But you got a pretty consistent 12 to 24 inches. Lexington, Kentucky getting smoked. DC, New York, Boston, all getting smoked from this. Is this overdone? Yes, it's overdone. So don't get too caught up in this one model run. It's overdone, and it's probably wrong. The GFS, as we've talked about a million times, the GFS has been the worst, and we could actually probably see y'all want to see a little thing here? We'll compare all the GFS runs. Look at the GFS in the last, 10 runs. Look at how it wavers. It's starting to get a little, but look at how it was all the way down here. Then it went up. Then it went back up. Then it kind of stayed the same. And then it kind of goes amped, less amped, more amped. Has no idea. The Euro has been much better. I wonder if I can get a good look at the Euro. We can't look at the 12 yet on this, but see, here's the Euro. You can see your snowfall goes all the way up to ice. You can see Euro has up to I-70 getting a foot of snow. Whoa, not that one. All right, let's see if we can do our euro. Oh, we can only see. Let's see if I can do a different one. All right. Here's the euro. Look at, and it won't let me look. But the euro has been much more consistent. That's all you need to know. All right. Let's look at the 12Z euro here. It just now loaded in like the last half hour as we were starting the stream. Yeah, the forecast is going to change, guys. And the big winter 420. Welcome to the Doppler gang. Let's go. All right. You can see here Friday afternoon now. You can see these ISO bars. So you all see these little black lines on these maps. If you've ever wondered what those are, it's like it's called like ISO bars. Like it kind of tells you pressure. So the closer those black lines are together, the stronger the surface pressure gradient is and the winds. The farther out they are, then the weaker it is. So you can see here the pressure gradient is tightening right here, and you should get a lot of wind. It's going to be very cold. It's going to be like noon, and your feels like temperatures are going to be in the below zero category. You see, dinner time Friday, you really start to pick up that snow, and by midnight, look at this. By midnight, you have a nice snow shield up here. Joplin, Tulsa, Springfield, Oklahoma City, your ice. Lubbock, your ice. Amarillo, your ice. Little Rock, your ice, according to the Euro. Dallas, your rain. I don't know how much I believe this. I think that this front is going to sag a little bit more south because these models are always a little bit off on how that shallow cold air, we were talking about that last night, that shallow cold air will intrude a little bit further south than what models say usually. But you can see we got a good winter storm on our hands Friday night, and this ain't even the peak of it. Whoa. All right, so heavy snow by late night, early morning across northwest Arkansas, northern Oklahoma, southern Missouri, heavy icing for Little Rock. So you can see here's the snow mix line. The snow mix line is about right on I-40. Right on I-40. That's your mix line. So guess what happens? If this system moves like 30 miles to the south, Little Rock, you're getting snow. Fort Smith, you're getting snow. OKC, you're getting snow. If this moves 30 miles more north, guess what? Now like Fayetteville, or Mountain Home, that area, now you're on the line, Stillwater. So you all see how hard it is to forecast these storms because small shifts, just small shifts can change everything so much. Up here in Joplin, I'm 90% confident the freezing rain line will not end up getting up to Joplin, but we'll see. Never underestimate that warm air advection from these systems. Yes, Roadster Jim, thank you. Don't forget to drop a like. Alabama weather's top trending. All right. Double says, I don't buy the ice totals from the Euro. You don't think it's accounting for sleet? Yeah, I agree with that. And that's another thing that I mentioned last night if you're in the stream. So the pink is ice, the purple is sleet. You can see a little bit of purple, but the Euro is not showing much sleet. There's going to be, between the snow and ice, there's going to be more sleet right here. There's going to be like sleet right here. It's not going to be all ice. There is going to be a little bit bigger of a corridor of sleet, and the Euro is not picking up on that. So yes, the ice accumulation from the Euro, as I say, when you take in account ice accumulation, you probably got to cut it in half to be somewhat accurate, and even a little bit more than that. Just depends on the setup. Matthew wants to know about Kansas City. Well, if you like snow in Kansas City, St. Louis, it's looking good, looking a lot better for you. I think probably at least, 4 to 6 inches is a pretty reasonable thing to say that you're going to get right now, and it could go up. Be careful, though, because you're on that northern edge, so it could shift a little south and go down, but we'll see. But, okay, Saturday afternoon, So you can see the euro doesn't have much of a break. I mean, there's a little bit of a break in here, but Saturday afternoon, you can see that early wave of energy moves east, and you're getting your early wave of energy moves east. You're getting your new wave of energy out here. So now the snow line has dipped a little lower. So now the snow line at this point, the cold air is sinking down. So like Lubbock is on the snow line. Oklahoma City, your snow again. Fort Smith, Little Rock, you're right on the line. Nashville, sleet, freezing rain. Nashville is going to be an interesting one for this. Nashville and Little Rock both. Louisville, you're getting slammed. Joplin, Springfield. St. Louis and Kansas City, you're getting pretty light snow up here, but those temperatures are so cold. It's going to be like 5 degrees. So that snow is, even light snow will very efficiently be able to accumulate here. Hey, Amanda, welcome in here. And Christy, welcome in. Chappie, yeah, the GFS and Euro differ a lot, and people are like, that's crazy. How can the two models differ so much? Well, let me tell you, that's not an uncommon thing. That actually usually happens with most of these events, is they actually differ a lot. That's not a foreign thing. They always differ, almost always. So look at that. Dude, this run really just slams my house. Still getting heavy snow Saturday night. By Sunday morning, it's out. But look at Sunday morning. DC. I'll put a dot here where DC right there. Philly getting smashed. New York City moves into you guys. Pittsburgh, you're going to be getting a good snow. Columbus, you're going to be getting a good snow from this. Little Rock finishing with snow on the back end. Nashville is look at this warm nose of air. I want to show you guys this too. The Euro is really confident on this warm nose of air. Let me see. That yellow is hard to see. I'll do a black color here. Look at this warm nose of air pushing into Kentucky, Tennessee. That's kind of wild right there. So you can see the Appalachians are right here. You got your Appalachian Mountains. You got warm air pushing in on the west side of the Appalachians on the back side of the system because that surface low is strong enough. And then here to the east of the Appalachians, you could get this might be where the most major icing is to the east of the Appalachians, kind of in the Carolinas, Southern Virginia, because that cold air will get trapped to the east of the Appalachians, and that warm air is trying to push in from the south, but the mountains are blocking the warm air, and that's going to give your Carolinas a big icing event. So this is something to watch. Some of these areas right in this area, you might start as freezing rain, sleet, a little bit of snow, switch over to freezing rain or rain, and then you might switch back to icy precip on the backside. And then as we go through Sunday afternoon, you can see that warm nose of air, like really kind of, you can see the Appalachians and the valley to the east are kind of holding that cold air right here. But that warm air really intrudes up there, and it even intrudes right here on the coast a little bit. You have more warm air, and I don't know much about these coastal nor'easters, but that's a pretty common thing. Yeah, the pink is freezing rain, purple is sleet. You guys can see there's a little, I don't know if you can see all of it. Some of it might be blocked, but there's a little bar here at the bottom that shows you guys that. So yeah, really, I'm interested to see the amounts from this. And then kind of after that storm moves in, we got nothing to talk about for like a week probably. It's cold and dry. Cold and dry. So makes sense. A historic, potentially generational storm comes through, and then you don't get anything for 10 days. It's usually how it goes. So, all right, let's look at amounts here. Also, one thing I want to look at quick is the wind gusts here. So Friday night, you're going to have some near blizzard conditions across 44 up here. You're going to have 25, 30 mile an hour wind gusts. Winds about 20 miles an hour. And that's not enough for a blizzard, but you're going to have a hit and miss blizzard up there. Your snow is going to be so powdery. All it would take is for me to just blow on the ground and, a bunch of snow will fly up. So A lot of wind here, and this is the other problem. Gusty winds down here. When those trees get a lot of ice on them, it doesn't take much wind to bring down branches, even bring down entire trees, actually. So, and then the winds die down, and then they pick back up. Again, and this is another worry, too. Look at how strong these winds are on the backside of the system. You got 20, 30 plus mile an hour wind gusts on the backside of the system where there's a bunch of icing and snow. So that could be a problem. That's something we need to watch. Is not just wind for the blizzard. There's not going to be a blizzard, but there will be some blizzard conditions where it's windy. But the main thing with the wind is looking at areas that get a lot of ice. You're going to have a lot of power outages. If you're in an area that's going to get a lot of ice, please don't go completely nuts. Like, don't act like the world's ending. Don't go to the store and get a whole, freaking cart of toilet paper or whatever. But make sure you're stocked up for at least a few days. If you have a generator, make sure you have that stuff ready. Emergency food. If you got a fireplace, make sure you have wood stocked up, because if your power goes out, it's going to be cold for a few days. Make sure y'all have that stuff, especially if you're on the icing side. If you're on the snow side, don't really have to worry about the power outages, but I would bet that we're going to see a good amount of power outages in this area right here. Maybe even a little farther north, but I think we're going to see a good amount of power outages in this area. So let's see snowfall totals. I haven't even got to react to this yet. So about the same. The Euro is really locking this in. It's so consistent here. So remember how I said I didn't really believe the GFS? Well, this is why. The Euro is going to be much better. Has a solid swath of about 12 to 15 inches all the way through here. Pretty solid swath there. And then another area here of 12 to 15 inches. And then obviously up there by the lakes, that orange, that's from a mix of lake effect and the storm. I'm glad that the Colorado mountains are getting a decent little snow out of this. They need it bad over there. But you can see the divide here, and you kind of even have a divide on the Boston Mountains. There's a mountain range right here. Boston Mountains. You must be holding some of that cold air to the north, and then the cold air, but not colder, to the south is giving you more sleet in the Arkansas River Valley. But this is going to be... I think this is a pretty reasonable map right here. So don't take it for like 100%, but this is relatively realistic. A lot of these spots. You can see the red, kind of like the maroon, purplish, whatever you want to call it, is 12 or higher. The dark purple is like kind of like 7, 8, 9, 10. And then the lighter purple's like 6, 7, 8. And then the blues are like 2, 3, 4. So that's how you can see there's a little graph there on the bottom. You can see it. But that, I think, is that's pretty decently realistic there. Well, and for fun, let's look at some of the other models. Let's see if the GFS is out to lunch or if it's actually in line with stuff. Yeah, Colorado needs it so bad, guys. Do you think the government can steer the storm? Yeah, no. The government cannot steer the storm, contrary to what you might read on Facebook sometimes or TikTok. Now, can the government potentially impact the weather a little bit? Possibly. Especially in very dry areas. Maybe they can cloud seed a little bit, but when it comes to like big hurricanes and big tornadoes and big snowstorms, the weather modification that would do like the atmosphere is going to do whatever the atmosphere is going to do. This has nothing to do with the government. So is it possible? Yeah, but To what extent? Literally nothing. It doesn't affect it at all. Don't circle Lawton in the power outages. We'll look at Lawton in a second, but I-44 is always that dividing line. I-44 and I-40, they always seem to be that dividing line. Yeah, well, hey, let's look at the blizzard warning up in Minnesota in a minute. We will. So here's the icon. Pretty similar. Heavy burst of snow Saturday night. Another heavy burst of snow. When the other wave of energy comes in, really heavy burst of snow for the Northeast. There's that warm nose that we're talking about. Now, the icon, that warm nose is less than the Euro. Here's your warm nose. You could see a lot of cold air that's getting stuck in it. This would be a disaster for Atlanta. Let's hope that doesn't happen for Atlanta's sake, because you have this cold air getting trapped on the east side of the Appalachians. So if I go pull a sounding near Atlanta, classic ice sounding. Look at this. Like we talked about last night. Here's your freezing line throughout the atmosphere right here. There's your freezing line throughout the atmosphere. Here's your actual temperature. See how that actual temperature goes way right of the freezing line and then comes back. That is a disastrous profile for freezing precip. So let's hope the icon is wrong, because that would be a disaster for Atlanta. And we'll look at the ice here in a second. New York City, what a surface low track for you guys. Just a perfect track up there for I-95 snow lovers. So if you're up in Philly, DC, Jersey, New York, even Boston, and you like snow, well, this is one to get decently excited for. So yeah, pretty reasonable. About a foot snow here. Here's your sleet line down here. And then another little spot of a foot plus up there. This is a pretty reasonable forecast, I think. This is by no means probably generational. I will say where I live, we haven't got a foot of snow in 15 years. So if we get the most snow we've had in 15 years, you could say, hey, that's a once in a, 10, 15 year type of storm. But yeah, this is the icon. The icon would be an absolute disaster for Atlanta. Let's look at the UK Met, and then we'll look at the Canadian. So the UK Met, man, it has a pretty big swath of snow out here. But you guys can see the trend here. The GFS is down here with the biggest snow. The GFS is here. Every other model, a little bit north and a little bit wider of a shield of snow. So y'all can see that the GFS is certainly the outlier. Does Joplin have snow plows? Yeah, they don't plow neighborhood roads. They mostly just plow main roads, parking lots. But we average a foot of snow a year. So if we got a foot of snow from this storm, then that's our yearly average from one storm. But we get a foot of snow a year, so we have a decent bit of plows here. And look at the Canadian, and then we'll look at ice. Canadians, about every model is showing like a foot of snow right here. And even parts up here. But this is a little different here. You have a lot less snow here for like the DC area. So we'll have to see ice-wise. We'll go look at ice. And once again, these global models, please do not take the ice amounts 100% with certainty. Cut them in half. At least cut them in half, because they're not going to be as high as what it shows. So the Canadian, you guys can see, is kind of what we were talking about here. You get that shallow cold air comes down here, and you get that cold front to dip all the way to Mexico and the Gulf Coast. And then that warm air from the Gulf by that surface low brings up that warm air, and you kind of get your warm air to really. This doesn't show Atlanta getting much. Now Northeast Georgia gets pretty good store, but it shows a lot. This is my biggest concern for ice. Is there's two areas for ice that are my biggest concern, and I think this model shows as well. My biggest concerns for ice are here in the lower elevations east of the Appalachians, right here. And then my other concern for ice is probably southern Oklahoma down to about Austin and up through Huntsville, Nashville. This would be my other area. And this middle zone right here might be more sleet right in here. And then your snow is going to be all up here and up here. But there's two spots that are my biggest concern, and one is to the west of that surface low, the other's to the east of that surface low. So, yeah, welcome in everybody. Drop a like. Let's get to 100 likes here. We got like 170 likes on the stream last night, so that was pretty solid. All right, we'll look at the GFS for ice. So Canadian, the GFS shows a pretty big event in Atlanta, but you can see the GFS is already a lot lower on the ice totals than it was a couple days ago, but you can see that ice gets all the way down there to I-10 near the Gulf. And then you can see the same pattern here. Warm nose right here, cold shallow air down here. Valleys to the east of the Appalachians getting slammed. Huntsville up to Knoxville getting smoked with ice here. These are all different models. So that's the Canadian. We've looked at the Icon, I think. So let's go to the No, this is the GFS. We looked at the Canadian. Now we're looking at the Euro. We just looked at the GFS. Golly. Snow depth. That snow's going to stick around for like 2 weeks if it all happens that way. All right. Freezing rain. Similar stuff on the Euro, but look at how much more bullish it is for like Little Rock, Memphis, Oxford, Mississippi, Nashville. You can cut these totals in half. I'm pretty confident. You can cut these ice totals in half, but you can see same story, guys. Same story. Shallow, cold air. Now, the Euro is not as bullish on that shallow, cold air. I think that this freezing rain line will be further south. And that was a terrible drawing there, but I think that freezing rain line is going to be further down here towards the Gulf. And then it'll come up like this. And then you're going to have that cold air is going to get wedged here east of the Appalachians. You're going to get that cold air wedge. So Richmond, Raleigh, Greensboro, Athens, Georgia, I think like Spartanburg, South Carolina, you're gonna get it. So we'll see. I'm not confident on this much ice here, but it could be a major zone there for ice. So let's see here. How long have we been going here? We've been going live here for a little over 30 minutes. So I'll probably be live like another 10, 15 minutes. So here I'm going to take this opportunity in the chat. Let me know where you're watching from, and please let me know if you want to update for your area and what I think as far as your area goes. Let me know where it's at. Let me know where you're tuning in from here, guys. I got some stuff going on this evening, but I'll probably be home around like 11 or something, 11:30, and I can do a live tonight, 11:30. That's a perfect time too, because that's when we get all the models in. And if I go live in like 10 hours again, we're going to have a lot more data to look at in 10 hours. So I will do a live tonight for an hour or two, kind of like I did last night. I'll do it a little later, maybe 11:30, 11. But all right. Lawton, Oklahoma. Okay, what do I think about Lawton? I'm just going to use the Euro because I think that it's, at this point, the most accurate model. But in terms of Lawton, You're going to start freezing rain, sleet, snow mix Friday afternoon. Friday evening, you're going to be kind of right on that line between freezing rain and snow, but I'm leaning a little bit more towards like sleet, freezing rain than snow. And then eventually, as the second wave of the system comes in, Lawton, you're probably going to switch. You're going to switch from sleet, freezing rain over to snow. So you're going to start sleet, freezing rain, probably shift over to snow. Now, keep in mind, if the storm track goes 60 miles to the south, you're gonna get mostly snow. 60 miles to the north, you still will get some snow on the backside, but it's going to be mostly freezing rain or sleet. So, as far as what I'm thinking for Lawton, I would say at least a few inches of snow, maybe more, depending on how the precipitation falls. But a few inches of snow, sleet, a couple inches of sleet, a little bit of ice. Cold, the roads are going to be absolutely a mess. I expect 44 to probably get shut down. Probably would think that 44 will get shut down in certain parts, but Alberta, Canada. Well, maybe a little bit of snow, it looks like Saturday, but looks like you guys are mostly going to have that high pressure and that cold air. So let's see what the wind chill is in Alberta. And by the way, I've been to Alberta. I've been to Calgary and Edmonton and more rural areas to the east, and I love it. I've been to Banff. I did some of that this summer. It was actually my first time being out of the country, so went up there to chase some storms, do some hiking. But yeah, Alberta, you're on Friday night. Actually, Friday during the daytime, you got some brutal wind chills there, Alberta. Puxatawny, Pennsylvania. Where is that at? I'm assuming that's kind of like southern or central, but I know that's where the groundhog is. That's what I know about Puxatawny, I believe is how you pronounce it. Oh, you're just northeast of Pittsburgh. Puxatawny. If the Euro is right, you guys are going to get a good snowstorm, probably like close to a foot of snow. And you're not going to have to worry about ice up there. It's going to be all snow. If the GFS is right and that snow shield's a little bit farther south, you're just going to get a few inches, maybe half a foot. But I'm leaning more towards you guys getting a little bit more. So Nikki asked a good question. How come the 200-mile shift to the north didn't move the ice? And it did, Nikki. I don't think the storm quite shifted 200 miles, but when it shifted north, it didn't move the ice north as much as it moved the snow. The ice moved a little north, but not as much. And the reason why is because even if the system is moving north, that cold air is still shallow and strong enough to go farther south. It's hard for me to explain, but that cold, shallow air is strong enough to where if the whole system moves north, that cold air is still going to get locked in to the south. Long Island, New York. I'm thinking you guys are going to get a big snow over in Long Island. Probably around a foot of snow up there. Something that I want to watch is this warm. And if you're in Long Island, I'm sure you know good and well, but you can get that warm air from the ocean to kind of intrude there. So I want to watch where this surface low is. So where's this surface low going to be? Is it going to track further south? A little bit farther north? That's something to watch for Long Island. I'd say over there's a little bit more of a uncertainty just because that's the last place that the system's hitting. So it's a little bit farther out into advance. But Long Island, I'd say I bet you guys will get around a foot of snow. I feel pretty good about saying that. I think you're going to get smacked. If that warm nose comes up a little farther north or you get too much moisture from the ocean, you could get sleet, freezing rain mixing in there. Maybe some rain. It'll just depend, but I mean, you're probably going to get smacked here. You can see this is what the snow profile looks like. So I was showing you guys earlier. Here's your freezing line throughout the atmosphere is right here. Here's your temperature. Your temperature never hits the freezing line. So if this was ice, profile, your freezing line would go like this and then back over. But since it's snow, it's over here. If it was freezing rain, it would go over the freezing line up at about 2 miles in the atmosphere and then shoot back. But all you need is just one layer of the atmosphere to be above freezing, and then you get freezing rain or sleet. So I hope that makes sense. Those soundings can be a little confusing. When we get into severe weather season, I'm going to be doing a lot of breakdowns on those weather soundings here. Let's see what else we got. Very far southern Illinois. Yeah. If the system moves a little more north, you could deal with some sleet, but I'm going to say there's about a 90% chance that southern Illinois is all snow. Salisbury, Maryland. I hope I'm probably pronouncing some of these names wrong. Let's see where that one is. So you are in, you're just south of Delaware, all the way over there. It's a pretty cool place to live. You're near Ocean City. Okay. So that's an interesting one. According to the Euro, you start with snow. According to I keep hitting my desk. I need to get a different desk eventually. You start with snow here. So you're right in here. You're like you're somewhere over here. You start with snow. And then you move to sleet, freezing rain, and then you maybe even get a little bit of rain. So we have to watch that. Now, the thing is, if the GFS is right, you're staying mostly all snow. The GFS has that low a little bit further south. So if the GFS is right, you're staying all snow. But I'm more confident in the Euro. So I think for that part of Maryland, I think you're kind of going to be getting a little bit of everything. You're going to get snow, rain, freezing rain, sleet, and then probably finish out with sleet, snow on the back end. Stay home so insurance rates don't skyrocket. Yeah. Looks like a nor'easter by Sunday. Yeah, it does. I mean, we can play this loop here. I mean, here you can see it, and then yeah, it does look like a nor'easter a little bit. That low is in a good position for I-95 corridor. Sometimes those lows get drug in too far inland, or they're too far out to sea, and then you don't get anything. But it's in a good position right now. Let's see. Linda's wondering about Memphis. Memphis is a really tricky one. Anywhere on 44 in Oklahoma, or 40, Oklahoma, Arkansas, Tennessee. Actually, 40 going all the way over to the Carolinas. It's a tricky forecast. This model shows Memphis getting mostly sleet, freezing rain, and then some snow on the back end. But if you look at the GFS, Memphis starts with kind of snow, sleet, goes to sleet, and then you get snow on the back end. So I'm more on the Euro side. So here's what I think for Memphis. I think you're going to get a little bit of snow, a little bit of sleet, freezing rain to start. Then maybe you switch to like freezing rain. And then on the back end of the storm, I think that you do switch back to snow on the back end of the storm. But unfortunately, if you're looking for a ton of snow in Memphis, it's going to be farther up towards the Missouri boot heel, I think. We'll have to see if it shifts. But South Haven. Yeah, South Haven. Same as Memphis, obviously, but South Haven, you're a little further south, so your chances of a big snow go down a little bit. Chances of freezing rain, unfortunately, go up a little bit. No one wants to see freezing rain. That stuff is nasty. If you like freezing rain, you're a sicko. The one time I do like freezing rain is when you get like a little glaze of freezing rain and it doesn't really do much to the roads, but it like coats the trees and the grass, and then the sun comes out, it gets really pretty. But anything more than that, freezing rain is nasty. Freezing rain is nasty. Anything more than that. Yeah, the South can't have anything nice. Yeah, the South, it can't. I'm in Southwest Missouri, and it looks like we're gonna get hit really good with this one. But I don't know. What do you guys consider Southwest Missouri the South, the Midwest, the Ozarks? I don't really know. I think we're kind of in between. But yeah, the South can't have anything nice. Winter storm watch for Nashville and Middle Tennessee, and yeah, that's another thing we should go look at. As our winter storm watches here. Wow, dude, these really expanded here. All the way from the mountains in New Mexico down to the Mexico border, over to Houston, all the way up to the north side of Atlanta, and look at that. I mean, look at how big that area is of that is a huge, huge area of watches, and you're gonna get watches up here. You're gonna have watches come in over here as well, and probably extend down here. Maybe down here, we'll see, but that is a big area of a winter storm. And we got winter storm. I made a post this morning. I said I expect winter storm watches to get up to I-70, right up on I-70. So we nailed that one right there. And thank you for the information. I will thank you for tuning in. Thank you for tuning in, Joseph. We got Double in here. We got Adam. We got Nikki. We got Linda in the chat. What is up, everybody? Kenna Rose. What is up, everybody? So one more time, I'll say, hey, if you got any questions on where you live, I'll probably be live another 5-10 minutes. I can answer those. Other than that, we'll end this and when we're done answering the questions, and then I will be live again tonight. It might be late, so I know some of y'all might not be able to tune in, but I'll be live again tonight, maybe 11:30, but that's when we'll have a lot more model data. So last night I was live till like midnight, and I still had a decent bit of viewers. So some of y'all must be late not late owls. I can't talk. Some of y'all must be night owls, late night people. That's how I am. I'm a late night person. I prefer to get all my work done in the evenings. So how much snow for St. Louis? St. Louis is an interesting one, but if you asked me 2 days ago how much snow St. Louis was going to get, I'd say maybe a couple inches of fluffy snow. Now you're talking more like 6 inches at least, maybe more, depending on how this thing goes. But see, St. Louis gets into some of that moderate snow. And like I said, it's so cold, that snow, those ratios are so high. We can actually look at our snow ratios. But I would anticipate, let's see how much the Euro gives you guys in St. Louis. 10, 11 inches over there. So on the conservative side, I'd say St. Louis right now, 4 to 8 inches, 4 to 8 inches of snow. I'm sure in the next couple of days, you'd probably say 6 to 10, 8 to 12 or whatever, maybe just south of St. Louis. But conservatively, I'd say let's say 4 on the low end and 8 on the high end, and with potential to go up for St. Louis. The Aurora was amazing in Alaska. Yeah, we got a little bit of it down here in Missouri, but obviously it wasn't anything special. Do I have a chase planned? Yeah, I'll be chasing with Garrett on Stormrunner Media. So I'm a part of Stormrunner Media now, and I'm doing a lot of stuff over there with Garrett. And this is going to be something that I do on this channel on the side, do these forecast briefings. But yes, me and Garrett, I have no idea where we're going to go. I don't know. Maybe we'll go to the I-95 corridor. Maybe we'll do I-44, stay around here. I don't really know yet. Northwest Arkansas seems like a pretty dang good spot, in my opinion, to chase this thing. If Fayetteville is going to get 15 inches of snow, sign me up for that. Kansas City. Kansas City's kind of on the line between a lot and a little bit. It's trending favorably for Kansas City. I'd probably say the same as St. Louis, 4 to 8 inches. But as we get closer, that probably will go up a little bit. Thank you guys for tuning in. I'll go ahead and get out of here. We've been live for almost an hour here, about 45, 50 minutes. I will be live. You know what? How about this? Before I get out of here, I'm going to make the stream and try to raid my stream. I actually don't know exactly how to do that. Let me figure it out here. I don't know how to raid my own stream. I'll try to do it. I'll try to raid my own stream here. And if I can't do it, then, well, I'll make it right away, and then you guys can go raid it right after I... Let's see if I can schedule here. I can schedule another one. Let's do tonight at 11, and I might have to move that forward or backwards. I'm going to change my thumb. I've had the same thumbnail now for like I've had the same thumbnail for like 3 streams. I need to change it. 4 streams. I think this is my 4th one. I need to change it. 11, yeah, 23. All right, let me see if I can raid this new one that I've made, or if it even works. Okay, this one's still going on. Here, let me see if I can redirect you guys. Don't know how to do that. I don't know how to redirect you guys. Does anyone know how in the chat? How do I redirect you guys to a stream? Something I'll have to figure out at some point, but here, maybe I can look it up quick. If I can't figure it out in the next couple minutes, I'll just end it and but how do... All right, let's see. Let's see, guys. I have no idea, guys, but let me just I don't know. I don't know exactly. So let me just go ahead and end this one, and then go to my new stream. It's up. It's already up. Go to my new stream. It's already up there. So appreciate you guys. I will see you in like 10 hours. Hopefully, if you're awake. If you're not awake, maybe you can catch it tomorrow morning. I'll probably go live 1 or 2 times tomorrow as well. And good stream here. I will see you guys next time.